Hassan Piker, a maestro of modern commentary, the final boss of the communist cornucopia, on Twitch recently roasted DJ Akademiks for his false reporting pertaining to the Donald Trump indictment, and dismantled all the flawed reasoning and mental diarrhea DJ Akademiks has been engaged in.
Indict me to try and run for some other office. What's going on in this country is, and by the way, wants to indict me for a perfect phone call. This was even better than my perfect call with Ukraine. Remember the election?
I love that. I love that so much. The rumor that Fulton County DA Fani Willis has slept with the head of a local gang named Donovan Thomas Jr. has existed for a while already. I've seen no real evidence about it, but Akademiks repeated it a couple of months ago, saying he heard it from a reliable source. Fani Willis certainly has a personal relationship with Donovan Thomas Jr.'s mother, though. That is a fact. Which, by the way, this sentence is lasered in my mind. I've seen no real evidence about it, but Akademiks repeated a couple months ago saying he heard it from a reliable source. What do you mean? DJ Akademiks famously also claimed that Tory Lanez was not going to jail and that he absolutely had not shot Megan Thee Stallion despite the very obvious court case proving without a shred of doubt that he did. It's just like wild to me that there is any kind of like journalistic integrity with DJ Akademiks. Like, come on, dude. He's entertaining, but that's wild to. Bro is devious with the misinformation. The rumor that Fulton County DA Fani Willis has slept with the head of a local gang named Donovan Thomas Jr. has existed for a while already. Oh, he clipped it out of context too? Yo, that's crazy. YSL RICO updates literally says this is a cycle. It's like a closed loop. Do you see it? Do you see what he's doing? He literally clipped it so that you wouldn't know where this guy got the information from when the information comes from DJ Akademiks. That's crazy. How is this whole thing so perfectly tailored to you specifically? I don't know. I don't understand it. This is basically, we are one step closer to Donald Trump serving a top of the hour ad break. Anytime this happens, Donald Trump running along with like rumors started by DJ Akademiks means that we are one step closer to Donald Trump being like, at the top of the hour, folks, 3-minute ad break. If you no longer want to see those ads, this socialist tells you, you have to subscribe. Believe me, that's a First Amendment violation. He says he's a socialist. Serving 3-minute ad breaks at the top of the hour? Not very socialist to me. Bye-bye. Salecat, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Culk and Balls, thank you for the 5 gifted. What's OP Gladio? Thank you for the 10 gifted. Gladio! They're doing Gladio to me, folks. Here's the 3-minute ad break now. Excuse me. Excuse me. Fake news. Lesbian, thank you for the 5 gifted. Everybody knows socialism is when you have no money, when you have tattered clothing, or canned man. Thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Anyway, let's get back to the story.
To indict me. She's got a lot of problems, but she wants to indict me to try and run for some other office.
Fani Willis, he's speaking about, who is African American.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, he has called her racist before. The district attorney's office is aware of it, and they sort of brush it off until it rises to an actual threat against her, which she's been getting a lot of. And, you know, we've already seen the sort of security be ramped up around the courthouse. And we expect that she's going to start making her presentation before a grand jury next week in this sprawling investigation involving Donald Trump, involving many of his allies who tried to overturn the election in Georgia. And she's already lining up these witnesses, not because she needs new information from them. They've all testified before the special grand jury. Prosecutors know what they're going to say, but she wants them there to help craft this narrative around what actually transpired around the 2020 election, what people were doing to try to overturn it, as she goes to this grand jury and asks for indictments.
And Shan, obviously what her argument is going to be, assuming she indicts, is that he, the former president, then sitting president, broke state laws in Georgia. The defense is almost certainly going to say, the Trump defense, you don't have jurisdiction to do this. Do you expect it to go through the federal courts, maybe even to the Supreme Court, to help answer that?
I think he'll certainly try to do that. There's some potential procedural obstacles to that when you're trying to challenge the state court's ruling. I mean, jurisdiction courts generally always have to consider it. I don't think it's a very strong argument. I mean, she's the Georgia prosecutor. Why wouldn't she have jurisdiction over it? So I don't think that's really going to go anyplace, but that could be an argument that they'll make.
Yeah, well, we're going to see all of the arguments when we believe it's going to come soon-ish.
Soon, next week.
We welcome you back to CBS.
Remember, folks, the Georgia court case will most likely be televised. Just saying. State court, state criminal trials, a little bit different than federal courts. Federal courts, no filming. However, Democrats want to actually change that. Some have made the argument that this is information that the public needs to see. Georgia courts might be televised. Georgia courts have already said that they will perp walk them and mugshot them.
Ladies and gentlemen of the August Assembly, it is with an intellectual tapestry of verbosity that I unravel before you a discourse of Herculean proportions, nay, a veritable cornucopia of linguistic legerdemain, elucidating the recent exposé by the erudite Hassan Piker concerning the unfathomable saga involving the contentious triumvirate of DJ Akademiks, the ineffable Donald Trump, and the beleaguered Georgia da Funny Willis, interwoven with elements that would have Aristotle himself pondering. In confounded contemplation, Piker, a maestro of modern commentary, vehemently lambasts the erstwhile behavior of DJ Akademiks, who in his proclivity for propagating uncorroborated narratives, has insinuated an unseemly connection betwixt the indomitable Funny Willis and a purported local gang leader. An injudicious endeavor, this, for Akademiks' past peccadillos include the incredulous denial of Tory Lanez's culpability in a shooting imbroglio despite the unequivocal elucidation of evidence. Chiding Akademiks for his lackadaisical journalistic integrity, Piker postulates that the gentleman doth manipulate information as one would knead dough for sourdough bread, all to pander to his preferred predilections. Alas, this perfidious peddling of untruths, akin to the modus operandi of the exalted Trump himself, festers like an intellectual contagion that sullies the veracity of the informational zeitgeist. Piker, in his acumen, surmises that the prodigious persistence of such behavior might even propel the enigmatic Trump to consider advertising his sagacious perspectives on Akademiks' platform. In a symphony of sagacity, Piker opines on the pernicious repercussions of such delusional drivel on the collective consciousness, particularly in the context of the ongoing inquiry that ensnares Trump and his consociates within the borders of Georgia. A nexus of misinformation, this ordeal veers perilously close to distorting the foundational architecture of public perceptions, potentially casting a pall over the eventual jury adjudication. The racial prism further tinges this imbroglio, with the indefatigable Funny Willis, an illustrious African-American prosecutor, courageously grappling with the irascible vituperation spewed by none other than Trump and his band of fervent adherents. With a resolute mien, she primes herself to present her case before a grand jury, where the purported state law transgressions of Trump form the focal point of her legal onslaught. Yet, let us not be remiss in acknowledging the potential gambit to besmirch the jurisdiction of the hallowed state court, a strategy that Piker opines to be as frail as a gossamer filament in a tempest. In the realm of televised court theatrics, the Georgia proceedings stand in stark juxtaposition to the federal domain, the former extending the mantle of transparency whilst the latter remains ensconced within the veils of obscurity. In the twilight of this narrative, Piker casts light upon the proposition of unveiling Trump's visage in the public square, an emblematic gesture that encapsulates the virulence of accountability, transcending mere legality to embody the ethos of a robust democracy. In summation, Piker's elucidation of the maelstrom involving DJ Akademiks, the erstwhile Trumpian juggernaut, and the valiant Fani Willis transcends mere critique. It becomes an exposition, nay, a clarion call for the rejuvenation of journalistic verity and the safeguarding of societal probity in these trying times. But lo and behold, the plot thickens as we delve deeper into this labyrinthine saga. For it is not only DJ Akademiks who has cast aspersions on Fani Willis' integrity and competence, there are others who have joined him in this nefarious enterprise. Among them are some prominent figures from Trump's inner circle, such as Rudy Giuliani and Sidney Powell, who have unleashed a barrage of baseless allegations and lawsuits against Willis and other Georgia officials. These legal luminaries have sought to undermine Willis' authority and credibility by accusing her of being part of a vast conspiracy to rig the 2020 presidential election in favor of Joe Biden. Hasanabi does not mince words when he denounces these scurrilous attacks as nothing but desperate attempts to subvert democracy and sow discord among Americans. He exposes their fallacious arguments and dubious evidence as mere smoke and mirrors, designed to distract and deceive the public. He also points out the irony of their claims, given that Trump himself has been accused of pressuring Georgia's Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger to find enough votes to overturn Biden's victory. Piker asserts that these actions constitute a clear violation of state and federal laws, and that Willis is well within her rights to pursue criminal charges against Trump and his cronies. Piker further elucidates the gravity of the situation by highlighting the potential ramifications of Willis' investigation on the national and global stage. He posits that the outcome of this case could have a profound impact on the future of American democracy, as well as the reputation and influence of the United States in the world. He contends that if Willis succeeds in holding Trump accountable for his misdeeds, she would not only uphold the rule of law and the will of the people, but also send a powerful message to other aspiring autocrats and demagogues that they cannot escape justice. Conversely, if Willis fails or is thwarted in her quest, she would not only face personal and professional repercussions, but also risk emboldening Trump and his supporters to continue their nefarious agenda. Hassan also expounds on the challenges and obstacles that Willis faces in her pursuit of justice. He acknowledges that she is up against formidable foes who have immense resources and influence at their disposal. He notes that she has to contend with not only legal hurdles and political pressure, but also social media backlash and death threats. He commends her for her courage and determination, and expresses his admiration and solidarity with her. He urges his audience to support her as well, and to resist the temptation to succumb to apathy or cynicism. Piker concludes his discourse by reiterating his main points and offering some suggestions for further action. He implores his listeners to stay informed and engaged with the developments of this case, and to seek out reliable sources of information. He advises them to avoid falling prey to misinformation and disinformation, and to challenge any false or misleading claims they encounter. He encourages them to participate in civic activities and movements that promote democracy and human rights. He exhorts them to hold their elected representatives accountable for their actions and decisions. And he invites them to join him in his ongoing commentary and analysis of this saga, as well as other pertinent issues of our time.